is the greatest moment in my life.
Hey, yo.
Bonjour.
Hello. Maxie, I'm struggling a bit.
I know you literally 30 seconds before going live, Sard decides that's the time his old man kicks in and he starts getting cramped while sat down.
Yeah, well, it's like, oh man, it's like right at the bottom of my ribs on the one side. It's like a stitch or a cramp or something, you know?
From walking upstairs, people, and sitting down.
Well, I did have a bit of a fall earlier. Not a big proper fall. I kind of stumbled a bit. And I was sat on my bed, which is just behind me here. And I was watching Quantum Leap, making notes, ready to do my recording this afternoon for the waiting room. This episode comes out in a couple of weeks' time. And where I was led on my bed watching this, making loads of notes on my laptop and all that, I gave myself a dead leg. Yeah, my leg went numb. As soon as it had finished, I thought, I'm starving. I want something to eat. So I jumped off the bed thinking I'm going to go downstairs and make myself a toasty. And my leg wasn't awake. And I kind of went, whoa, and wobbled all over the place and, and bumped into the wardrobe. So, yeah.
You need care. That's what you need.
I'm not allowed to be left alone. Sharon's downstairs, but
you need somebody to come in, make your meals, make sure you're taking your meds, and look after you.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. There we go. Indeed. This is going to be our turn to a little bit more. Well, I was going to say normalcy, but as normal as this show gets, I suppose. Because...
yeah, I actually said to the wife just before starting to record, this might actually be a normal length episode compared to the last two because of the crazy CWF.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Well, we are looking at a Royal Rumble, but at the same time, is that
one of the worst Royal Rumbles?
Oh my word, it's not a good look, is it? We'll get to that later, but there is some shit in that Rumble. We can have some fun with this. And then we've got a pretty good, inspired by real life, I suppose, non-wrestling topic to get into as well, Max, aren't we?
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll get to the inspiration for that at the time.
Yeah, we will indeed. Speaking of time, it's summertime, Magsy. It's daylight outside still.
I know. My chickens. Oh, I'll wait actually for chicken news for that.
Yes, but, don't jump the gun, mate. Come on. Hot shot this thing.
It's been glorious. It's been absolutely glorious. We've been outside. Having barbecues. The kids have had the pool out and the bouncy castle. Yeah, even the little ones have got suntans. It's just it's been really good.
Yeah, and it's going to be even warmer this coming week, apparently.
Oh well, the thing with British heat is it's always dead humid, so it's sticky. So you end up like being all sweaty and grouchy and stuff like that. But
you're like that all year round.
I know, but I'm a hot, grouchy, sticky arsehole.
Oh, there we go. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you may be listening or watching from. This is Chain Wrestling Live with Mags and Si. I am Si. And with me, as always, is the Rumble. For my little tumble, like I said, fell off the bed, dead leg. Ooh, there it is. The boyhood dream. To my squat team, they were shit, weren't they? You remember them from the 96 Rumble? Oh my goodness, what was that?
I tried to not remember them, but then the second one came straight after.
Yeah. Oh, they were so bad. A podcaster who really has got us watching some absolute shite.
What? Rude. I don't make the picks.
The podfather himself, King of the Chickens, Lord Mags. How are we doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing really good. Weather amazing. Like I said, had some really good time with the family over the weekend. Yeah, can't complain. It's been fun.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff.
Although that sounds like I'm rubbing it in with sign is news that we'll get later on today. But I'm not.
Yeah. I've had quite the eventful week, mate. We've done a show since I had the ambulance out to me, didn't we? Yes, we
did.
Yes. Okay, so I've been mocked for that one.
You have.
Yeah, I've been mocked for that one already. Okay. Yeah, I would. Our non-wrestling topic this week is inspired by jobs that we love, our favorite jobs we ever had, or our dream jobs. Inspired, sadly, by the fact I got laid off this week, mate.
You did,
know?
yeah.
And I want to just make sure before I say anything, there's no ill feelings on my part towards where I used to work or where I used to work's part towards me. It was a business decision they had to make and so on and so forth. And I understand it completely. But yeah, so if I've not been as active on social media the last couple of days or replying to people's messages as regular as I normally would or as quickly as I normally would, it's because I've kind of been in a bit of a state of shock and maybe feeling a bit sorry for myself. But there we go. Onwards and
Yeah.
upwards. Things change, don't they?
It harkens back to the earlier episodes of Chain Wrestling and Chain Wrestling Live, where we'd usually get an update of where you were working at that time when you were doing agency work and stuff like that. So
Scrubbing kids' toilets and stuff.
Back to the old school, back to the
look at
old
that, eh?
episodes.
Look at that. That must have been ratings back in the day. So someone in the podcast.
All 4 people watching then.
Yeah, that's it. Gotta tune into that fat bloke with a beard talking about cleaning them school toilets. You know?
And now they'll tune in to listen to that fat bloke with a beard talking about his chickens.
There we go, mate. There we go. Speaking of which, Magsy, you were going to tell us a little bit about what they've been up to.
I were.
Chicken News with Mags, only on Chain Wrestling.
So, the chickens have had a very eventful week this week. So, like I said, it's been hot. The weather's been good. So, we've had the chance to do some of the little kind of like household tasks that you kind of put off when the weather's a bit grim. So we needed to basically garden shred some old branches and some old wood. So we did that, and we got all the wood chips, and they've got a new bedding down in their coop, and they've enjoyed that so much that we've had 3 double eggs laid in 3 days. So
Ooh.
if I remember for next time, I'll bring in some of the eggs. So you get the normal sized eggs, and then
it's like a show and tell.
every it's been like every other day, one of the chickens has laid an egg like twice the size, like that. Honestly, it's amazing. So yeah, we've had lots of double eggs, and I contacted the dealer that I get my chickens from, and hopefully this time next week we may have more chickens in the chicken family.
Oh my word. They're just going to take over, mate. You're going to end up sleeping outside. They're going to just have the house.
So I think I've said before that they've basically got a converted shed. We had a shed at the top of the garden that it was basically sat there doing nothing. So we emptied it out, cleaned it out, and made it into their coop. And I saw a video from the person who we get the chickens from, and they raise their chickens in relatively same size, but they put like 40 chickens in this one coop. And I've obviously got 4, getting another 4 soon, so that'll be 8. But yeah, that it scared Mrs. Maggs to death when she saw that video. She's like, "We are not getting that many chickens."
No, it can't be good for them either, can it? Surely they got to have room to move around and be
No,
happy.
well,
You know?
this is obviously a farm made for raising chickens, so that's where they sleep. But they have acres and acres to kind of free range and stuff like that.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I wouldn't get like 50 chickens.
No, you'd run out of names.
32. Maybe.
Is that how many names you've got?
I'll just call them all the same name.
What's that? Chicken?
No, I would call them all. No, right now they're named after the granddaughters, but
okay.
I would call them like Thea the second, Thea the third, Thea the fifth, that kind of thing.
Oh man. Shall we dive on into the chat, Magsy, and see who has joined us early doors?
We shall, and straight away, King's Pig's Bladder, and again, we appreciate him. He's done the lovely background artwork for this this live today. And he says it's a tragedy that Barry didn't win, and that's why I named the show. It should have been Barry's year, and if you look at the YouTube thumbnail, it's a picture of Barry Horowitz winning the 1996 Royal Rumble, which should have happened. We've also got Graham in the chat. Good Cop, Bad Cop Wrestling Podcast. Happy Bank Holiday, Memorial Day if you're in the US and UK. Sharon in the chat with it's Monday night. You know what that means. And just to pause before we go on, I actually listened to a podcast this week. It was Sharon's debut solo podcast, Away from the Pages. I think she was talking with a friend and fellow author, CM Marie, I want to say. Yep. And if you recall last week, I said I wanted to kind of hear the similarities and differences between making content like we do and then making content like the authors do, and see if there's any kind of like crossover. And I noticed that they use kind of similar terminology that I used to give as advice to other podcasters. And it was, if you don't feel, if you're not invested in what you're talking about, and in their case, writing about, the readers or the listeners aren't going to feel that investment. So you've got to kind of have passion for the subject you're writing about. And it was a really interesting listen. Sharon is an absolute natural. One episode in, and it felt more like a chat than an interview, which is the way it should be. And props to CM Marie for organising the author sign off or whatever it was called. Yeah, brilliant. So I highly recommend everyone go and listen to that podcast as a non-biased listener, with Sarah being incredibly biased. I thought it was a brilliant listen. I can't wait for episode 2.
It is fantastic. It is fantastic. Yeah, it is really, really good. I'm amazed how great she was. You know, and we don't obviously do things for numbers. We do because we enjoy it, and we don't want to get into detail. I don't really share numbers and detail, but just to make sure everyone's aware of the sort of digging I've been getting for the last couple of days. Away from the Pages has already done better than any of my podcasts this week for downloads. So
don't listen to it. Listen to Chain Wrestling.
Listen to Nitro Nights, the Doctor Who. No, well done, Sharp. Absolutely fantastic stuff, Sharp.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, back to the chat. King's Pig Bladders saying hello to everybody. Facebook user, I assume it's going to be maybe Charlie.
Showing your age now, Dad. I'm guessing that is Anya. Just a quick shout out to anyone who does watch via the Facebook group. Either you give StreamYard the relevant permissions when you comment on the video in Facebook, and your name will pop up for us when we're doing the show live, or just note your name in your comment so we know who you are. Otherwise, it comes up Facebook user, and we've got no idea. So
yeah. Back to Graham from Good Cop Bad Cop. He said he was watching Cocaine Bear on Peacock, but that wasn't the nonsense I was looking for. So good evening, gentlemen. Now, Cocaine Bear, what a film. You've got plenty of time on your hands now, you lazy bastard.
This is true. This is true.
So get yourself seeing Cocaine Bear. It's ridiculous. Lots of love for Cocaine Bear. King's Pigs Banner saying that he loves it. Dan Griffin, hello, sir. How are you? He says Cocaine Bear is the heart of cinema. The entertainment is only on par with cheese rolling. Now, come on.
We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that in a moment.
Sharon saying hi back to King's Pigs Bladders. Scottish Dan in the chat. Hello, how are you, sir? Happy cheese rolling day. I think Sharon's jumped the gun for you there, sir. Unfortunately,
this is true. Connor
in the chat from Connor No Soccer. Hello, how are you? And yes, egg news. So yeah, honestly, the size difference. I'll take a photo when I finish this, and it'll probably go up on my TikTok. So make sure you follow me at Pod Farmer Mags. Like King's Pigs Bladder, like Away from the Pages does. Follow them on TikTok as well. Don't bother following SJP World Media because they don't post anything.
I just go on to look at your chickens.
King's Pigs Bladder says cleaning off there, Connor, Danny. Scottish Danny says you can never have too many chickens. Exactly. Chicken math. Absolutely. Chicken math is amazing. Scottish Danny says, love having chain wrestling as a palate cleanser. What? As a palate cleanser? Us? From all the weekend wrestling? Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll mention that sometime. Good Cop Bad Cop says, perhaps I should have the video of Cocaine Bear with the audio from Chain Wrestling. Wow, that is a mix-up. That is like the Dark Side of the Moon and the Wizard of Oz, but just terrible. Sharon says, CM Marie was an amazing first guest. Couldn't ask for better. And thanks to everyone who's reached out. It's more, I appreciate it more than you know. Honestly, it was a superb listen. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. King's Pigs Banner says, I'm doing that now with Chain Wrestling as I finish Double or Nothing. There we go. Turn down the audio for whatever you're watching and listen/watch to us. And the last one for now, King's Pigs Banner saying congratulations to Shaw. Yep, absolutely. I can't say it enough. That is a brilliant first. I wish my first episodes were as well done as that. So yeah,
mine too.
Superb, Sharon.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah. Yeah, today, mate, it's Bank Holiday Monday in May. That's Cheese Roll Day.
Jesus. So, the heart of fun. Did you go?
No, I didn't. But thousands of people did, causing traffic delays all around the county.
So
roads being blocked.
Why did you not go? Why did you not go to cheese rolling?
In all honesty, I forgot about it. But I've never been. I've never actually been.
Jesus.
So, but at the same time, I live 15 minutes, if that, from Kingsholm. I've never been to the rugby stadium. You know, just the way it is, isn't it?
And you call yourself a Gloucesterian.
Yeah. I've been to Fred West's old house, or what used to be Fred West's.
Oh, well, I've never been to cheese rolling. The thing that makes Gloucester proud, but I've visited the house of the worst person who ever lived in Gloucester.
Yeah, pretty much. Speaking of the cheese rolling, I want to read you a little report here. It's national news magazine, because this is from the Guardian newspaper. And it does tend to get quite a bit of coverage, doesn't it? The old cheese roll in Gloucester.
Mm-hmm.
The headline reads, Woman wins UK cheese rolling race despite being knocked unconscious. It feels great, said Canadian Delaney Irving, victor of the women's race at Cooper's Hill near Gloucester. And the article continues. A woman was knocked unconscious whilst running down a hill to chase a 3 kilogram or 7 pound cheese wheel, but still managed to win her race at the bank holiday event. Video footage posted on social media, which I will retweet in just a moment, posted on social media showed Delaney Irving falling whilst pursuing the double Gloucester down the almost vertical Cooper's Hill in Brockworth near Gloucester. Irving, 19, said she only realised she had won the women's race when she woke up in the medical tent. Now, I've seen this footage. Everyone's probably seen footage of cheese rolling by now. There's some bad bumps. There's people break legs, break arms, and all sorts of stuff. Somebody actually took away on a stretcher today, straight to the hospital, and all this sort of stuff. This lady, I think she's in second place as you watch the video. Falls, you can see where she knocks herself out because she goes limp, but this hill is like literally it's vertical, it's so steep. She just carries on going unconscious, overtakes the other person and wins the damn race whilst being knocked out.
That's amazingly bad that someone, that article just shows what's wrong with cheese rolling. The fact that you're celebrating somebody getting concussion and then winning a 3 kilo wheel of cheese.
Not just that, mate. We'll get to that in a moment. The lady here, Miss Irving from Vancouver Island in Canada, told the BBC she was not cheesed off. Oh, see what you did there. She was not cheesed off by what had happened and said the race was good now that I can remember it. I remember running, then bumping my head, and then I woke up in the tent. I still don't really believe it, but it feels great.
It feels great. Brilliant.
Yes. Several races were held over the day. Matt Crowler, 28, from Manchester, won the first. Asked how he prepared for it, Matt said, I don't think you can train for it, can you? It's just being an idiot. I think you're right, Matt. I think you're spot on. And a separate race was also won by somebody from Japan. So, and they said, why did you enter the race? To youngster Ryoya Minami from Japan.
Definitely butchered that.
I apologize. And he simply responded, because I love cheese.
Can you imagine if you won and then you was lactose intolerant and you couldn't even eat the cheese?
Well, it's not just the cheese this year, mate, because whoever won the cheese roll this year, there's pictures of them all on this particular article. They're all given a red and yellow striped Gloucester City Football Club scarf as well.
Wow.
That's worth it alone.
So now you regretted not going in and entering.
Yeah. Oh, it's all happening down at Gloucester, mate. Tim Flowers is the new manager down at Gloucester City.
Brilliant.
Ex-England goalkeeper.
Yep. Ex-Blackburn, Southampton.
Yeah, that's right. Won the Premier League, mate.
Well, yeah, he did.
Loads of former players are returning. You know, we're in good shape.
Like Tim Sherwood.
No, not former players from Tim Flowers.
Can you imagine?
That's why Jeff Stelling's
David
retired.
Batty rocking up.
That's why David Stelling's retired. He's going to come down and play right back for us. Oh dear me! But yeah, there you go. I'll share this this video of the cheese rolling via the Chain Wrestling Twitter account now, so people can check out the video and the collision and so on. Bear with me 1 second. I will share it with the hashtag CWF. There you go. It's been sent. So if anyone wants to have a little check out of that and then let us know what you think in the chat of these crazy people doing crazy shit.
Look at that.
There we go.
Live retweeting.
Look how, mate. I'm so professional.
You are.
I'm so professional. Oh, there's one other thing I want to talk about as well, Maxie. Sorry. I don't know if
Go
you
on.
can make it out on there. I'm going to have to take it off, and look at this. Our Libs made us this. It's a little bracelet, look. I don't know if you'd be able to make it out properly with my light and bad camera. It says Chain Wrestling across it.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool, isn't it?
Proper cool. Yeah.
Yeah, our Libs made us that. Is she a clever little lass?
Cheers. Superb.
So there you go. $10.99 via the SJP World Media merchandise store. If anyone's interested. No, I'm joking.
I mean, you've got to make up that hourly rate somehow.
Well, this is it. And it is half term. It ain't like she's doing bugger all else. So,
yeah.
You know, there we go.
She could churn out 50 of them a day.
Well, that's it, mate. And I could just do this, couldn't I? That'd be me sorted. Oh, Magsy, you okay? Coughing your guts up again there, mate?
Yeah, I've been fine all day. It's honestly, it's coming on with you.
It must be. You're allergic to me.
Yeah.
Allergic to me. Oh. So then, we better get on with the show. Now we've gone through all of our, little pre-rambles and discussions about eggs and cheese and bracelets. And the return of a segment we've not done for quite a few weeks, I think, Mr. Mags.
Yeah,
it's time.
And it's the CWS fault as well for giving us bumper content.
This is it. It's time, I guess, for the first time in numerous weeks. I suppose kind of apt as well, considering some of the people who are in the match we're reviewing later, to throw some crap into the Chain Wrestling Hall of Fame.
The Hall of
Lame indeed. What have you got for us, Mags?
The 1996 Royal Rumble. That's lame.
Fair enough.
No, that is not my entry this week. So my entry harkens back to an entry from a long time ago, way back in the earlier days of chain wrestling. So when Dustin Runnels left the WWE to sign for WCW, and he came with the character Seven, and it was kibosh by standards and practices because it was very peedy, let's just say.
It was very peedy.
Yeah, pedo-esque. He cut a promo in the ring, basically slamming the character, slamming WCW for basically wanting to recreate Goldust, and he showed his disdain for the Goldust character. He hated it. But then when he went back to WWE or WWF at the time, he was back being Goldust again. But he got a second chance to kind of kill off the Goldust character that he so clearly hated being. When in 2007, after doing a little bit of a tour of Japan and the Indies, he turned up in TNA. he turned up as Dustin Rhodes. Now, this wasn't a time in his life that Dustin looks back at fondly. He was very out of shape. He was suffering from addiction to painkillers. But anyway, he did end up in TNA. He came in to help, I think it was Christian Cage defeat Wildcat Chris Harris. And then we get a sit-down interview that he does with Mark Tenay where Dustin's looking a bit crazy. He starts saying that Chris Harris has held him back from having a job in TNA. He says that Chris Harris is ovulating, which I have no idea why Chris Harris would be ovulating. And then he starts talking about having a split personality. And this split personality is revealed over the next couple of weeks in vignette videos to being Black Rain.
Uh-oh.
Now, Dustin wanted to come away from being Goldust. He wanted that creative freedom that he could get out of TNA. So what was Black Rain? Black Rain was a face painted, full leather or rubber bodysuited character, kind of like Goldust if you got Goldust from Wish.com.
It does sound familiar.
He would come out with a black wig on, kind of like if Goldust would come out with the blonde wig on. And he had some of the worst matches in TNA history because he was clearly not ring ready. He was, like I said, he was very out of shape. He was not mentally there with us. He brought with him a stick with a hand object on it holding a knife, which he called Darkness Falls. And he also brought a handbag kind of thing that carried his pet rat, a pet rat called Misty, which he would use on Chris Harris, kind of like Jake the Snake would with Damien. He basically held this rat and let the rat walk all over Chris Harris for a little bit. So yeah,
just one rat.
Just one little brown rat called Misty.
Was it on a lead?
No, he held it in his hands quite calmly. It's not like he let the rat go and the rat ravaged Chris Harris. He literally just held the rat and the rat just walked very lightly over Chris Harris's body.
It's not quite as scary as a cobra, is it?
No, I mean it did get worse he did use the rat to terrify Abyss when he put a bag over Abyss's head and put the rat in the bag with Abyss. And then it slowly got worse because he then started bringing a box to the ring. Now, we didn't find out what was actually in the box at first until he brought a bigger box, which contained the wrestler Relic. Now, why was he called Relic? Because it's killer spelt backwards.
Oh, clever.
They don't milk the absolute shit out of that, do they, on TNA? So Relic and Black Rain went into a feud with Abyss and Rhino. And then, weirdly, we get Dustin Rhodes turning back up as Dustin Rhodes, asking for a job, even though he quite clearly is working with TNA as Black Rain.
Oh, my God.
He then gets into a feud with Frankie Kazarian. He attacks Frankie Kazarian during a match with Relic. So Frankie Kazarian mocks Black Rain by painting his face white, wearing a blonde wig, calling himself White Sunshine, and he also apparently has stolen Misty the Rat, dyed the rat white, and renamed it Marlena. This leads to, and it's got to be Russo in charge here because we get a rat on a pole match.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we do. And if this wasn't bad enough, this feud then gets an extra element to it because Frankie Kazarian needs a partner. He's obviously taking on Black Rain and Relic. And who comes to his aid? Eric Young. Now, that doesn't sound particularly bad. Eric Young's a very capable wrestler, but this isn't just Eric Young. This is Super Eric, where he's doing his very best Aldo Montoya impression by wearing a jockstrap on his head, wearing the red and yellow and EY all over his chest. Thankfully, this was pretty much the end of Black Rain. He was quietly removed from the TNA roster, and Dustin was gone from the company. But for a good 14 months, we had the pain of having to watch Dustin Rhodes, who hated Goldust, reinvent Goldust for TNA as Black Rain.
14 months.
14 months of Black Rain.
Why don't I remember this?
Oh, it's because your brain has punched it out of you. That's why you fell. That's why you fell.
Right.
It just shuts your brain off. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So my entry, Black Rain.
Why? I know it's going into the Hall of Fame for a reason, and it sounds awful. But I'm oddly intrigued, and I feel I have to go and check some of this out because it just sounds.
Definitely should.
Yeah,
it's Impact Wrestling and TNA do a great job of putting a lot of content on YouTube for free, so you can definitely go and check out some Black Rain matches on there. I think the match he has with Abyss, I think it's the match of 10,000 thumbtacks, is on YouTube. Don't expect any quality wrestling because this is not Dustin Rhodes versus Cody. This is not like the early years of Goldust. This is awful wrestling.
And yet I still want to watch it.
And yet and ironically, in the same episode, you've complained that we've had to watch terrible wrestling for so many weeks, and yet you want to go and watch some terrible wrestling.
Oh, there we go. Our TNA expert in the chat. Well, one of them anyway. Black Rain versus Abyss at Genesis 2007 was a bang. That's on YouTube, I think. That whole pay-per-view was on YouTube.
I'll give you a clue. It is not a banger. Scottish Danner is mocking.
Is he setting me up for complete disappointment and failure?
It's horrific.
Okay, maybe I won't check it out then. I do have something here from my entrant into the Hall of Fame this week that might actually please Scottish Danny as well to be talking about it, because I'm going to go to sort of mid-2000s WWE, which is right in his wheelhouse. And it's kind of inspired a little bit as well by an old Hall of Fame segment we did quite a little while ago now, talking about how Vince McMahon would change gimmicks of people, mainly coming up from NXT, or new signings and so on. If it's got over somewhere else, can't happen here because it's not his idea. So it kind of ties in with that as well. And it kind of ties in with Nitro Nights, because one of the people one person who's part of this gimmick I'm putting into the Hall of Fame is, doing wonderful things on Nitro in 1996, as Danny and I and the rest of the people who listen along to Nitro Nights are following along with us. I would like to ask you a question, Mr. Mags. If you were running a wrestling company and 3 of the top cruiserweights in the world were all available and wanted to come and work for you,
okay,
would you take them up on that?
Absolutely. I think cruiserweight wrestling is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Would you let them go out there, tell their own stories, and put on fantastic matches with a decent amount of TV time and not saddle them with a stupid gimmick?
I know where you're going with this, but yes, I would. I think the three wrestlers that I think you're going on about are amazingly talented. Amazingly talented.
See, millionaire promoter Vince McMahon decided to go a different direction to the way you would, Mr. Mags. And when he took them on board, or he may have had them working for him already, but he decided to put together the group of Psychosis, Super Crazy, and the wonderful Juventud Guerrera that we're seeing a lot of on Nitro Nights. What could they possibly do other than, put on banger matches and entertain the fans with their, athleticism and their ability in ring? That's not enough for old Vinnie Mac, is it, eh? Oh, God, no. We need to give them a gimmick. What can we do? They're Mexican. I know. Let's be incredibly fucking racist. Let's have them all dress in overalls, put skits on about how we're going to do all the housework and jobs in your yard and all that sort of stuff. Again, playing to Mexican stereotypes. They're going to reference an old Mexican prime minister or politician, at least, who once said that Mexicans in the United States are only there because the Americans want to pay them to do the jobs that other races won't do. I won't dive in because it all sounded quite terrible. They played into that, horrific racist comments there as well. And they rode lawnmowers to the ring, as if that wasn't bad enough. Mags, CWF, everyone out there, I give you the Mexicools as my entrant into this week's Hall of Fame. Didn't last massively long. I think it was Psychosis was the one who got fired, I think. Again, with Psychosis. I don't know for certain, but I'm going to gamble it was something drug-related because that's kind of how things went. But yeah, Mexicools, oh, dear me. Absolutely. It's just racism. Again, it's just outright racism. Again.
And three, like I said, three amazingly talented wrestlers. If you see Super Crazy in ECW, that guy was unbelievable. And he had some great matches in WWE. But yeah, that gimmick was grim.
Do you know what they called the lawnmower, Mags? Can you remember? Just coughing his guts up again there, look.
I didn't know that. I couldn't remember the lawnmower even having a name.
When they had one lawnmower, because at one point the gimmick got upgraded and they all had their own lawnmowers. So they must have been doing very well for themselves. When they had the one lawnmower that they would ride to the ring on, you're going on about how they would cut people's lawns cheaper than the next person and all that sort of racist nonsense.
So bad.
It's so bad. They referred to it as, I got it right here, Mexican Limo 2005. How disgusting is this?
It's horrific. It's so horrific. And you know that Vince McMahon would have been belly laughing at this bollocks.
Ha ha! This is good shit, pal.
It's funny because it's true.
Look at him. Ha ha! I cut my lawn. Ha ha ha! That's enough of that because I don't want to start coughing like you. But there we go. Those are your entrants into this week's Hall of Lame. Chain Wrestling's Hall of Lame. We have the Mexicools and we have Black Rain. It's funny, really, because it's four very talented people saddled with four pretty shit gimmicks.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the Black Rain one was a mixture of Vince Russo and Dustin himself, and plus he was in a bad place. Apparently, if you mention it to him on Twitter, he blocks you. He doesn't like talking about Dustin Rhodes. If you mention Black Rain to him, he blocks you.
I didn't mean if you mention it to Black Rain blocks you. Well, perhaps he does. You said there's a split personality. Perhaps somewhere in his psyche, Black Rain is still there. And perhaps he's trying to hide. He's trying to hide in plain sight, and it's Black Rain blocking people on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, he may still be that split personality. I mean, his face paint in AEW is half of a face, so perhaps Black Rain is still here with us. Maybe he'll appear in AEW sometime.
I hope so. I'm going to tweet him from the Chain Wrestling account and ask him.
Enjoy getting blocked.
Magsy, should we dive on into the chat before we look at our non-wrestling topic this week?
We shall. So we have King's Pigs Banner saying that sounds awesome. I'm assuming it means the cheese rolling because it's not. Sharon, the Monday night cough's kicking in. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've had this cough/cold for months now because it's long COVID. Basically, it's the after effects of COVID. But I've been absolutely fine for the last week, and then it rocks up on here, and I'm coughing my absolute ring up. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Kingsford Banners obviously watched the link that you've sent, and he says, "Wow, she goes down like a sack of shit."
She does.
Cheese rolling is not for me.
But she was victorious.
It does go to show, though, that if you just throw yourself down and roll, you're probably going to beat everyone. So maybe we'd have an advantage, sir.
Should we have a go next year?
No. I'm not that much of a fan of cheese. I mean, it's double Gloucester cheese. I mean, it's one of the boringest cheeses known to man. So,
but it's not just the cheese; it's for the glory, Mags. Can you imagine being able to go? Could you imagine that Monday night? First of all, you'd be in Gloucester, so we could do the show live from my house together, right? And that Monday night, well, I say from my house, probably from the hospital, we could do chain wrestling as victorious cheese rollers. Think of the clout.
You could. I mean, you could win the women's one, and I'll win the man's one, clearly. But
I just got to have a shave and let my hair down.
I mean, we've got it sewn up next year. You're looking at your 2024 cheese roll winners right here.
Yeah, right here.
King's Pigs Banner is also absolutely rolling at the rat on a pole. Yeah, it's classic Vince Russo. Have a match and something has to end up on a pole. I mean, he's had a leg on a pole match. I don't even did that. I think that was an entrant into the Hall of Fame, but if it's not, it should be between Yoshitatsu and Tyson Kidd, I think. And it was about Yoshitatsu had got a wrestling figure, his first wrestling figure, and he's really proud of it. And Tyson Kidd broke the leg off, and Yoshi wanted that leg back, so it was put on a pole match. Yeah.
Oh dear.
I'm actually going to check the back catalogue to see if that's actually in, because
I don't think that is.
Story. That's a great story.
I don't think I've heard that before.
Well, and the match is what they have is actually really, really, really good. Really,
that's
good.
Hall of Lane and a link, all in one.
Exactly. Scottish Danny, Black Rain V Abyss at Genesis 2000 was a banger. Again, no, it was not. Ignore Scottish Danny on that. He's
it's a trap.
Yeah. Cam Griffin, late to the show, but hello, sir. How are you? And King Pig Banner said he thought we was going to say Lucha House Party for a minute. Jesus Christ. I mean, again, 3 amazingly talented wrestlers lumbered with an incredibly generic Mexican gimmick. Cam says to King's Pig Banner, how are you, sir? And he says he's had a shit day, but improving now. Well, good. You know, that actually means that this show is worth it. If you can come here and we're making you move better, brilliant. I really, really appreciate that. Scottish Danny.
Sorry to hear you've had a bad day as well, mate. I hope everyone does sort itself out. Yeah,
same here. Scottish Danny says Mexico's was a shit gimmick, but the theme song was amazing. I mean, driving down to the ring on a motorized lawnmower would be cool if it wasn't for the fact it was so goddamn racist.
Exactly. Oh dear me. Yes, indeed. Okay, we shall get on, Magsy, because we've still got our non-wrestling topic and our wrestling topic to cover this week.
We have.
So, shall we? Oh, creaky door.
Yeah. It's Carlos. He's he's trying to creep for some keys. Carlos, everybody can hear you. You might as well show your face and say hello then.
Hello, amigos.
Hello.
Nothing.
That's Carlos doing his impression of a racist Mexican.
There we go. If he doesn't come down to the cage to the Mexico's gimmick and with the music next time he's cage fighting, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
Yeah, you should do. Riding a lawnmower to the cage.
Look at that! What a running. My wife brings me a cup of tea most shows. She never sticks her face on and says hello, does she?
Yeah, but Carlos didn't even bring me a cup of tea in. He just came and stole some keys.
And yes, Sharon, in case you're wondering, that was a hint. Sorry, Magsy. Shall we get on and look at our non-wrestling topic for this week?
We shall.
NWT time. Oh, no wrestling talk here. It's the non-wrestling topic. Lovely.
Nice.
Lovely.
Nice.
Ooh, lovely.
Lovely.
Oh, I was desperately guzzling some of my lemonade here then to try
I
and fill up a
thought
load.
you were dropping a far then. The way you
No,
were...
I was desperately guzzling some of my lemonade to try and get a load of gas inside my chest so that I could do a big nasty belch at the end of the non-wrestling topic jingle to coincide with the big nasty belch that's part of the jingle. But all I've done now is give myself heartburn.
Heartburn, cramp in your ribs,
Mate, I'm
falling
45,
over.
aren't I?
Yeah,
I
you're
wonder if I
old
can
as
get
fuck.
incapacity benefit.
Maybe.
Shall I go for
Get on that pip. Get a little bit of that pip coming in.
that? Oh dear. This week's non-wrestling topic was inspired in part by the fact that I used to love my job and now it's gone away. And
And we can't have nice things.
we can't have nice things. It's basically we wanted to know everyone's favorite jobs they've had or dream job in the future or most fun they've had at work. You know, a bit more of a positive non-wrestling topic, Magsy, because again I was going through the chain wrestling spreadsheet, you know, trying to update it little by little, and there was once the worst day at work we've had in the past, so that kind of popped in my head as well. So that's kind of where we're going this week, and we've had some pretty good responses, my friend, haven't we?
We have. A lot of people have had jobs that they really liked, and some very surprising ones. So yeah,
Indeed. I will read them out, Mr. Mags,
in the order that I've got them.
in the order they came into us. So there we go. We begin with Matt Butler at Trey Butler on Twitter. He says, most fun I've had at work.
I don't have that one on here, so
Do you
that's
not?
fun. No.
Oh, it's okay. I've got it. It's all right. I'll just read it out.
Okay.
All right. You sound so sad when you couldn't find that. You were like, oh,
I
what?
hate it. It triggers me. When...
Okay. I could just make up anything now, couldn't I?
You could.
Matt Butler says, the most fun I've had at work was when I was working down the docks. Favors for sailors, they call it. I was the cheapest No, he doesn't say that really. I'm making all that up. Matt Butler says, most fun I've had at work. Well, what goes on in the McDonald's Fallowfield store cupboard stays in the store cupboard. Shout out to Karen from Finland. Brilliant.
Amazing.
Oh
dear.
dear.
So he probably had a bit of a fillet of fish.
He did. Oh, dude.
Whoa.
Fillet
With
of
an extra
fish.
slice of cheese.
Oh my goodness.
And
Oh.
some tartar sauce.
Are you done? Any more
lumpy
McDonald's
Tartar
sex puns?
sauce.
Fuck's sake.
And
Little
I bet-
gherkin.
I bet she ended with a real McFlurry on.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Right.
That's a great one to say. I didn't even got it on the list.
Matt continues. I enjoyed working as a chef at Night and Day Cafe Manchester. I got to cook for the Magic Numbers, Clint Boone in Spiral Carpets, Bez, Goggle Bordello, and Sean Ryder's dad. Why?
Not Sean Ryder, though. He didn't rock up. It was just his dad.
Just his dad. How do we know it was his dad? Did he just
'Cause
say?
he probably came in saying, I'm Sean Ryder's dad. I'd like a meal for free.
That is quite cool, though. Bez and all that as well, mind.
Yeah. Clint Boone from the Spiral Carpets. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, pretty good stuff, mate. Pretty good stuff. Matt continues here, but I love my current job. I've got 3 equally diverse and wonderful clients that were contracts to provide IT services for. I have autonomy, sorry, to manage my time and my work as I see it, and I support and help define company strategy. I feel valued, motherfuckers. You can't buy that.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
In this day and age, to enjoy your job and feel valued in it is, it's worth its weight in gold. So great stuff.
Yeah, without a doubt. Dan Griffin at Dan Griffin 21 on Twitter. He
Definitely
says,
got that one.
good stuff. He says, but best time I've had at work is one I've told before, but I work in travel and got sent to meet suppliers and sample parts of the tools we offered in China. 4 cities in 8 days. and 2 big things off my bucket list in the Great Wall and the Terracotta Warriors. Yeah, he has mentioned that before, and that is real
amazing.
good perk of the job, isn't it? That is fantastic stuff.
That's lifelong memories.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We come to our friend, the Photoshop wizard himself, King Pig's Bladders. Perhaps he should have his own jingle. I'll have to see if I can make him one.
Do it.
Best job I had was project manager in system dev. When the company went into administration, they thought it was best to keep me on until they closed fully, just in case. So they made me redundant and gave me a retention bonus too. I played PGA golf for 4 months and did no work.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Danny at Scottish Juggalo on Twitter. Best job I ever had was as an ICT data entry officer. 5 hours a day, 25 hours a week. I would go in at 6 a.m., leave at 11. I miss it.
So could you pick your own hours?
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be finishing at 11. The day's your own.
Yeah, that is a perk, isn't it?
That's like postman hours.
But is data entry not maybe a bit boring, Danny? Did you find that at all? Let us know in the chat, my friend.
I mean, I suppose, but I mean, my work is a lot of data entry, and I don't find it boring because I can essentially, a little bit like Matt, I can do it whenever I want. It's a work from home job, and yeah, I can fit that around other things rather than other things around that. So yeah, it's brilliant. And Danny says in the chat, yeah, it was flexi time. Yeah, bang on.
Nice.
Get in early, finish before dinner. The day's your own. Yeah, great stuff.
Nice. Pig Splatters responds actually saying, I did that for a while myself, entering people's timesheets 6 p.m. till 11 p.m. It was dull, but so easy. Meanwhile, I worked during the day in a pet shop, which was great too, to be fair.
Oh, brilliant.
I saw there were jobs going at Pets at Home or PetSmart or whatever it's bloody called when I started looking for work the other day. And I was like, I don't really want to work in retail because people are assholes. But
I think
I get to see the animals.
I think the problem will be that they are, instead of being a local pet shop where your focus is the animals, that it's more big business. So your focus is selling the everything that comes around the animals, and I don't think you'd have much time to maybe kind of like play and entertain yourself with the animals. So I don't think it'd be the same.
Yeah, I won't go for that then.
I mean, you go for it if that's what you want.
Nah, people are assholes, mate. Perhaps I could just get a job in the warehouse because they've got to store the animals somewhere, aren't they? Is there an animal warehouse?
Oh my god, they could well be.
Apart from spiders, I ain't about that. Someone else can do that section.
Wimp.
Morty at MortyJR5 on Twitter. He says, honestly, what? You can't find that one?
It's not that I can't find it. It's not on. So a peek behind the curtain. What I do is I essentially get the chain wrestling thread from this topic, and all of the comments should be there ready to scroll to. But
scroll down a bit further. Oh, okay, maybe not. Yeah. I don't know what's going on there then.
Yeah, it's weird. Maybe I've been shadow banned off Twitter. Elon Musk has effed it right up. Yeah,
maybe, mate. Morty does say, though, honestly, my current job, I love it. It's very rewarding, despite the hours and effort I put in. Every single day is different. And that's awesome again, isn't it, Magsy? If you've got a job you love. Do you know what I mean?
It's not like a job.
Yeah.
You're getting paid to do something that you love.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's that time of the week. We hear from our good friend Steve-O at Total Steve-O on Twitter. He says, despite slating retail, I wasn't aware he did that, Max.
I don't think I've heard him mention it at all.
No. I thought he really loved his job and the people he works with and the people he serves at work.
Yeah.
Maybe. Despite slating retail, I didn't mind working at Sainsbury's, albeit 16 years ago. It was a night shift. I think it was 7 till 11. Job was pretty simple and got on with most people and actually praised for the job I was doing. Same as when I was working in the kitchen, again, 20 years ago. Majority of people aged between 16 and 21. It was a real team-spirited job where, once again, most of us got on. Looking back as a 16-year-old, I have fond memories and made some really cool friends at the time. The thing I've noticed with fun at work is usually, i.e. nowadays, it's just getting on with the job without some dickhead constantly on your back. I think he's spot on the money there, isn't he?
It could well be.
It's no coincidence people are laughing and smiling when the twat managers aren't in. Fair enough. I've never really had a dream job. Me and my brother have always envisaged opening a gym. In fact, and still annoyed he never went through with it, he and someone else pitched a personal training service for bands at Bloodstock Festival. Oh, wow, that's quite a clever idea.
Yeah, very clever. Ingenious.
Incredibly, the company that runs the festival agreed, but my brother and business partner decided against it, as it would cost them thousands to get the equipment. This was 6, maybe 7 years ago. They'd have probably made their money back, plus go to Bloodstock and train band members, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd have been pretty. That's awesome if you get that.
And the contacts that you would make as well. I mean, you wouldn't end up just doing it for. I'm assuming Bloodstock is a festival.
Yes, it's a heavy metal festival. Yes.
So that may end up being a kind of traveling festival gym.
Yeah.
Very unique.
Yeah. Don't give up on that, Steve-O. There's still plenty of, there's more and more festivals popping up all the time now.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
So many. I get so many posts online about different festivals all over the place. You know, if that's still a potential idea or something like that, maybe revisit that in the future sometime. But I reckon that's a great idea. Steve-O does finish up by saying, me and Jason have always said it would be amazing turning Elite FPL into our job. I always think, imagine your job just having to talk about something you're passionate about. Yeah, very true.
It'd be brilliant. I mean, it would have, and I'm sure Sarah will agree with this, but it would have always been outstanding if podcasting would have turned into a full-time gig, a full-time paying gig. Just like Steve-O says, talking about something that you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like you're working. So I mean, for him and Jason to turn Elite FPL, which is so good as it is now,
it's brilliant. It's fantastic.
Just that extra step up. I don't think they would be that far away from it being at least a source of an income, if not a full-time job. So yeah, that'd be amazing if they were able to pull that off. And we here at Chair Wrestling would be 100% behind them if they did.
Without a doubt. Chris Bellis at Real Chris Bellis on Twitter. He says, it sounds odd because it's just as backbreaking and heartbreaking as it is rewarding. But honestly, I love being a nurse.
Good on
great
you.
Stuff. Yeah,
good on you. If you're happy in your work
and you know it, clap your hands.
No, you tend to be happy in other aspects of your life, don't you?
Yeah, there we go. And finally, we have Good Cop, Bad Cop Wrestling Podcast at Good Bad Wrestle on Twitter. And they say, best job. When I returned to the UK, the school I would be teaching at in 2002 to 2003 asked if I would work the last 6 weeks of the 2001-2002 school year. North Carolina finished end of May. I did, and then got paid over the summer holiday too, unbeknownst to me when I agreed. That's pretty cool.
What a little Brucey bonus.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
So then he decided to move back to America as well.
Yeah, there we go. I say that's finally, but it's not. I've just got the screenshots in a bit of a funny order because we had Cam Griffin tweet into the show not long before we went on air, I think, Magsy, to be fair. And he says, hindsight, best job and most fun I had was the first 3 years of my electrical apprenticeship. Absolutely great people to work with and some hysterical moments. Dream job would be running my own cafe, just doing soup and toasties, an absolutely elite combo. And to round it off on a soppy note, the greatest job, if you can call it that, is being a parent. Absolutely love it, even when it's the craft. What?
You absolute sap. But yeah, it is right.
Oh, I thought you said sigh.
No, it's a sap.
Oh.
Just soppy for doing that, but it is good.
Yeah, your little ones are still very young, though, Cam, aren't they? You wait till they get a little bit older, my friend, and they bring the police to the door, and
they become dickheads.
Yeah, it happens. You'll still
There
love
i-
them.
There is a between say maybe 5 and 20, they become knobs. The kids,
5 and 20. That's quite a
yeah.
window.
no, I'm generalizing, but yeah, you will have a period where you think, you little tossers, just
Yeah.
be here for once. But yeah, being a parent is absolutely amazing.
Oh,
And being a grandparent is just as amazing, because you get the best parts of being a parent, and then the actual parents have to deal with the shitty parts, which is win-win.
I hope that is a long way off for me.
I hope that. And then 4 came pretty much at once.
Oh man. Oh, there we go. Magsy, what about your good self with regards to a job you've loved, and then indeed maybe a dream job? And here is my beautiful wife handing me a cup of tea. Thank you. Do you want to come and say hello to the CWF? No, she does not.
Look at that.
Okay.
Carlos isn't even part of the team of SJP and shows his face. Sharon has got the #1 listened podcast and won't even rock up. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
She's big timing us, mate. She's big timing us now.
Oh yeah, I can see a rider being put in very soon. She only will eat the brown M&Ms. And
she'll only do Mags and Sign next week if she has the certain expensive coffee and all this sort of stuff.
She's got to have a featuring, so it'll be Mags and Sam featuring away from
Sharon
the pages.
Korea. Yeah, that's it. It'll be that we have to plug her book and podcast every 90 seconds. She's big timing us, mate.
The quiz will have to be about her book.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Only joking, Shah. I love you. And thank you for my cup of tea.
Yeah,
so anyway, what about you?
Back on to me. I've had a weird range of jobs, to be fair. I've done factory work. I've done a little bit of social care. But I think the most fun I've had in work is actually doing factory work. But not so much on like machines or things like that. It's when I was the assistant manager of a store section, so they kept the records of everything that factory needed to run, and our little team was just amazing. It was like a boys' club. We would play pranks on. I mean, it wasn't all boys. There were some females involved in the team, but we'd play pranks on each other, like stabbing the people's cans of pop just underneath the opening. So when you drunk it all went down all over you. Pallet wrapping people to the racking. We'd do that a lot. Racing the forklifts, tipping the forklifts. Yeah, we've done that before. So yeah, I mean, it was a shit job. Crap pay, but yeah, I used to have a lot of fun doing that. In terms of a dream job, it was always to be a doctor, always from very young. I don't even think it was my dream particularly. I think it was like a dream that the family pushed on me, because I did really well at school. I was easily the most intelligent member of my family by a long way. And I actually ended up doing 4 A-levels at college, and then going to Manchester School of Medicine for a couple of years. So I was well on the way to becoming a doctor. And then I got really ill. I ended up with a knot in my bowel. Yeah, so that ruled me out for the best part of 9 months. And by the time I was fit and well enough to go back to uni, the year was over. So it would have meant having to start again. And at that age, you kind of want to start like earning some money. So it just wasn't to be. So yeah, I think that would have been the dream. You would have been podcasting with Dr. Mags instead of Pod Farmer Mags.
Dr. Mags, there we go. Oh, fair enough, mate. I mean, everyone knows that I loved my job until I got laid off this week. You know, that was I love the people there. I love the job I was doing. It's a real shame that it's happened the way it has. And you never know. They said that, you know, if certain things are sorted in 6 months, a year's time, they'll give me a call. They want me back if that role becomes.
And I hope so.
Yeah.
And like you said, this is no disrespect to the company. It's not like they've done this out of spite or just
yeah.
Everybody. It's the economic environment we're in. They're struggling, which unfortunately it passes down the chain. And the people who bear the brunt of it are guys like yourself that they would love to keep, but unfortunately can't afford to.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even go as far as to say necessarily struggling. I don't know the ins and outs of it, and it's not my business to talk about it on here. But I understand that a couple of things happened business-wise that had to be reacted to. So that's as far as I'll be. But yeah, it was a shame. But prior to this one, I suppose it would be perks out of jobs, because I've never really loved working in any particular role excessively, barring the one I was just in. So I suppose you look at extra perks to those roles. I did once work a machine in place for quite a while, doing days and nights, and the night shifts were always a good crack, because if a machine broke down, we were told don't touch it. So if enough of them broke down or we ran out of work, we would just stay till 7 o'clock in the morning playing darts.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and that's just the way it was. We were told we were expected to be there, but the machines weren't running. So, you know, I know for a fact one of the people I worked with, when I say one of the people, no, it wasn't me. I might have done it once, but it wasn't me on a regular basis. Would go around and just sort of touch the emergency stop and restart it. So then once the machine is juddered, that's it, it's fucked. You got to shut it down and stuff like that. So just so we could get to playing darts a bit quicker. But there you go. You'd think the amount of darts I played at this place, I'd be a much better dart player as well, by the way. Never really worked out that way.
I've never got the hand of darts. I don't know how to aim a dart.
No, I enjoy it, and I got okay for a little while, but I was never good. And I had friends who were very, and one of my best friends, Ash, he is very good. You know, so it's like, oh, do you want to come around mine and play darts? It's like, yeah, sure. And then it's like after about half an hour, I'm like, oh, why did I say yes? I just never win. You know,
and then it's not like he's going to let you. You're just cannon fodder to him.
And then we've got the thing with Liv as well, who from a very, very young age would score our darts games, whether she'd use the scoreboard on the phone that we had or pen and paper or whatever, and then she would start playing darts herself. And it's a bit of a detour, but there we go. We're talking
and then she beat you.
She did. She got so good. She beat you. We downstairs in the kitchen still. Downstairs in the kitchen still, we've got a dartboard hung up, like, you know, regulation height and all that sort of the casing with the chalk and all that sort of stuff. Underneath it, we've got a secondary dartboard for Liv when she was 5, maybe, so she could play at an eye level rather than having to constantly throw up and stuff like that. You know, and yeah, she got very, very good. But yeah, that was one job.
And when she beat you, you never played her again.
Oh, mate, it's caked in dust now. When I mentioned it before on the show, when I was 16, 17, I worked for Gloucester City Football Club for a little while. I loved that. Before the big floods that trashed the stadium, and City were doing well, and it was a great time, absolutely brilliant. And you know, work it just each day was different, you know. And again, it comes down to certain little perks. I get a cooked meal every day as part of my job, and 20 cigarettes from the machine every day as part of my thing as well. You know,
I would love if that was wrote into the contract.
Oh, mate, yeah, my players might have been. I don't. But that was great. That was good. And I suppose the only other one that I sort of look at, I think there were certain perks to, would be when I worked for national car parks, because in a certain car park, nothing would ever break down. So I just have to do nothing. So I could take a computer, I could take a laptop in, I could take my phone in, I could take a tablet in, I could do work that wasn't work, because I'd never be needed. If I went out on the piss the night before, I could go into work, set the ticket machines running. Yeah, and I knew exactly where the security camera in the office was. I could turn sideways underneath it, put my feet up against the filing cabinet, and basically lie down and go to sleep. And nobody would bother me. Brilliant. You know, so yeah, but there we go. There we go.
What about dream jobs?
Dream jobs? Well, you get the usual, don't you? When you're a kid, I was like 10. You dream about being a footballer, don't you? But you know, sadly, there's a criteria to that in actually having to be good at football, which I never fucking was. So that kind of, you know, shot me in the foot with that one. And then, of course, you know, from a very young age, to probably older than I should have been, realistically considering this. Wrestling was always in my mind. I wanted to have a match of some description, and every now and again when I'm pissed up, it pops in my head and I'm like, should I? But no, it's not a good look. I mean, I'm 42 and broken. I can't get out of bed without walking into my wardrobe. So it's
I mean,
but that was always
you've done the next best thing and done the commentary on wrestling.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I love being involved with that. The commentary was a great time. I really
Yeah,
loved
it was
doing
great.
that. I really enjoyed that. I suppose then the next thing from that would be something to do with this, with content creating, wouldn't it? I suppose I'd love for this to make enough money to be my job, and go from there. So, but again, it's pipe dreams. You know, it's so difficult, isn't it? So, you know,
dream, believe, achieve. I'm sure with enough
This is
work,
true.
you can make it happen. And I think you froze, or have I froze,
well,
or you
but I
froze.
don't know. That'd be fantastic if it ever did.
Okay.
My internet's gone, hasn't it? Can you hear me?
It has. I can hear you. Your face was frozen.
Am I back?
You're back.
Yes. Okay. I can see the little signal filling back up with internet now. So there we go. Okay. Yeah. What was I saying? Did you catch everything I said, or was it just cut off?
Yeah, we caught the majority of it. A little bit of robotics, but yeah, like I said, dream, believe, achieve. If I'm sure if you work at it, we can get to a stage where you are a media conglomerate.
Wow.
You're the
maybe.
next with SJP is the next Fightful.
Next fight for bloody hell. Okay. Are those ones we like, or are those ones we don't like?
I mean, they're the ones that didn't do their due diligence with chain wrestling.
Oh yeah, we don't like them. Fuck Fightful.
We do like Fightful, really.
No, I'm only joking. Magsy, do you want to play our little jingle so we could talk a bit of wrestling? Because when that's going on, I can step away from the camera because I just realised I left my notebook on the other side of the room and I need to go get it.
No, go and get the notebook first.
I can't go get the.
Are you
So
ready? You've got my other rib. You've got 10 seconds. Go.
Sorry,
Let's get ready to rumble!
Oh, that was so mean of me.
See, you panicked me then, and I've dropped my fucking pen now. I don't know where it's gone.
Do you want to play it again? We'll give you another 10 seconds.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Okay. And what I'll do is, on the audio version, I'll tidy all that up.
And you'll just edit it out.
I won't at all. That'll stay in. Yes. I suppose, Max, we're jumping ahead of ourselves, aren't we? We should have had a little look in the chat and see if anyone's. I don't think many comments have come in the meantime. They were just listening to us talk about our dream jobs. But
Sharon's. Scottish Annie says he spent a lot of time in his job whilst on Twitter, which is brilliant.
Well done.
Sharon says, which book is it? The one that Sa has or hasn't read? Oh, which one have you not read, Sa?
Sweet Melody. The one that's been out for 2 years.
So you are a monster, aren't you? If you're not even supportive of your wife's endeavours.
I'm very fucking supportive. You cheap bastard.
I just can't read. There's not enough pictures in it for me.
Well, yeah, what she writes tonight, fucking hell. You couldn't have
I'm
pictures.
surprised you don't have the book open and then like a copy of the Beano inside it. Oh my God, Sharon, this is brilliant. How have you got Dennis the Menace and Nasha into this situation?
Have you ever seen the episode of the program Bottom where he sits down to read War and Peace? And he opens it up and he goes, "Oh, we've been at this book quite a while now." And he reads a line and has to stop and get the dictionary out because he doesn't understand it. And then that's what he's been doing for like years. That might be how I sort of go ahead with reading. I don't know. I'm just.
Why do you not get Sharon to read it in audio form and then you can listen to it as a podcast?
You're kidding me, ain't you? It's a book about, it's all filthy, smutty stuff, isn't it? My wife sat there talking about that. Bloody
To
hell.
you, I'm not saying put it out for not put it out for everyone.
I think of my blood pressure. My goodness. I had the ambulance like the other day because of pains in my chest. What are you trying to do?
And last comment for now is don't forget your new CV title you can add now, Simon.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Using your Sunday name as well, so it must be important. What is your new CV title?
Some of the articles I wrote a little while back for Pro Wrestling Stories have been on the front page of the MSN site and so
Amazing.
on. So
Amazing.
I've been told by the fella who runs Pro Wrestling Stories, who's an absolute diamond. I love JP to bits. He's amazing. That I should be describing myself as an MSN affiliated journalist is apparently the title that I should be going. But I think that sounds a little bit grandiose for me. But it's lovely. It's
Why
a nice.
Not, though? Why not?
Yeah.
Get it done. Get it in your Twitter and your TikTok bio that you're an employee of MSN.
I don't know. Oh dear. Oh, Scottish Danny in the chat. I watched this run.
Let's get to this one first. Sharon. Oh Jesus, I can't read that smut out loud. So she wrote the smut, but she can't even read the smut. That's Sharon. That's filth. That's filth. Scottish Danny. I watched this Rumble earlier today. So did I. I cannot believe who they chose to come in at number 30. I can't believe who they chose to come in at multiple numbers because it was ridiculous. But I'm sure we're going to get into it.
Well, this is true. This is true. So Magsy won the poll again.
Why do you say it like you're disappointed? I apologize.
To be honest, I feel incredibly let down. Okay, I've not watched this Royal Rumble for a very, very long time. I've not watched it back for a long, barring today, obviously, for the show. I've not watched it back for an incredibly long time. And I knew Shawn won. And when you said 96 Royal Rumble and Shawn Michaels won it, and you're like, it's your guy who wins this one. I'm not going to lie, I got a little bit excited. I thought, do you know what? If I don't win, it's going to be all right because Shawn wins the Rumble. This is going to be great. And now I've watched it back. I'm like, you're a fucking arsehole. You built up my hopes.
Shit. It was so shit.
It's absolute crap. Oh, dear me. Yes, the 1996 Royal Rumble didn't even close the pay-per-view. They knew it was that crap.
I think it was the first ever Royal Rumble that didn't end the pay-per-view. That's how awful it was.
What the first one was middle of the card, wasn't it? But was that pay-per-view or was that television?
No, that not on like a TV special.
Yes, you're right. Yes. Okay. This was first aired, like we said, via pay-per-view, January 21st, 1996, from the Sunland Arena in Fresno, California. Less than 10,000 in this little arena because everyone even knew beforehand that this was gonna suck. Nobody went.
No, but to be fair to the fans that did go, at least they were somewhat entertained by the show. They weren't the kind of fans that just sit on their hands and were quiet. At least you got a little bit of like they were entertained a little bit.
Do you think so? Because I got a few notes that say otherwise.
No, there were. I mean, obviously it wasn't the best pay-per-view, but there were some points where the fans did feel a little bit invested.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Oh, dear me. Before the Rumble begins, we get something they don't do anymore. And it does feel, I mean, this is 96, but it does feel really 80s with regards to the cheap. Well, I suppose you're thinking 1999, 91, so it is 90s, I suppose. But it's very 80s, golden era of wrestling, having everyone cut a very short 15-second promo to the camera about how they're going to win the Royal Rumble. And we get one of those.
We do.
And it starts off with renowned professional wrestler Dr. Jeff Unger, who is talking about how he has no concerns about Shawn Michaels returning to the ring. He just wished it wasn't in the Royal Rumble with 29 other guys.
Yeah, exactly. So, Shawn, you faking fucker. There were no wrong with you, but I would prefer you to come back in a one-on-one.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, dear me. And he was a real doctor as well. He wasn't an act. I googled him. He's still got surgery out somewhere. He's a real doctor.
He's a real doctor.
Yeah, it wasn't just some random.
It was moonlighting as a wrestling doctor.
Yeah, it weren't like because they had the blackboard behind him, didn't they? And on the blackboard, they just had random medical words written on it to make it look
Yeah,
like he was.
well, there were tests that needed doing, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. And because obviously that's how all doctors operate. They drag a blackboard around behind them to remind them of what to do next.
Exactly.
And yeah, so I googled him like this dude must be an actor or some shit. No, he's an actual doctor. So
With that name as well, Dr. Unger. It doesn't.
I thought that's got
seem
to be
like
a
real
working name.
Yeah, it feels like a working name.
Yeah, but it's not. It's his
Wow.
real name. So yeah, good luck, Dr. Unger. The whole thing is just based around Shawn Michaels. If there was ever a Rumble, that I mean, we do get it occasionally. 2000, I think, leans towards this a little bit with The Rock, and 2002 definitely leans towards this with Triple H. And I probably, you probably think when you look at 93 as well, leans towards it with Yokozuna, really.
Yeah, and even not long after this, like 98, 99, were definitely Stone Cold centric Rumbles, but they were done so much better than this one. So much better.
Yeah, that's it. And they're all leaning. Everyone's just talking about Shawn. The commentary is talking about Shawn. I mean, spoiler alert: Shawn doesn't come into the latter half of the match.
No,
but yeah, they're talking about Shawn.
It's very backloaded. This Rumble, they get through a lot of shit before they bring out the big stars.
Yes, indeed. We begin with Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who lost a match on the kickoff show earlier that day to get the #1 spot, and his opponent gets the number 30 spot. We will see them shortly. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, his first opponent of the night in the 30-man over the top rope Royal Rumble match, challenging for a potential shot at Bret Hart at WrestleMania, is Henry Godwinn. Because why the fuck not, eh?
Because you've got the posh blue blood and you've got the commoner's muck pig farmer. It's just
right to yourself, man.
It does. It does. The clash of styles.
Oh dear me. Speaking of clash of styles, Bob Backlund is out at number 3.
And this is, I mean, we're at number 3 and we're already bringing back wrestlers who shouldn't have been wrestling for a decade to make up the numbers.
And he looks so out of place, Backlund, doesn't he? I mean, don't get me wrong, complete legend in the sport. He really is.
Man as a box of frogs as well.
Yeah. But he looks like he's never, ever seen the sun. He's as white as Sheamus. He is still wearing the same wrestling gear that I think he won his world title in 1979, was it? He won that?
He's never taken them off.
No, he probably sleeps in those boots.
Yeah.
It's just not a good look, is it? Jerry Lawler, speaking of not good looks, Jerry Lawler comes out next.
all the big stars coming for the Rumble.
Yeah,
and I love the way that Vince sells it as not that the roster is paper thin and we're basically scraping the bottom of the barrel, but that everybody is so interested in winning this Royal Rumble that even people like Jerry Lawler are coming out of wrestling retirement to try and win. Bollocks. It was, you had no other wrestlers on the card.
It's so bad. And after Lawler, we get Bob Holly, who is in his racing gimmick kind of
Sparky plug. Sparky Thurman plug, whatever it was called.
God. I'm running through these early entrants fairly quickly, Magsy, just to get to Jake Roberts at number 7, really, because I think that's the first moment we get something spectacular happen or something a bit that gets the crowd going.
I mean, it's usually for Royal Rumbles, you would see the first couple of wrestlers kind of clean house, or at least one of them kind of clean house. But I think Vince knew that his talent was so lackluster that he tried to distract the fans by just filling the ring.
Yeah.
Because you don't get any eliminations for, I think there's a good 10 people before you see an elimination. And for me, it instantly made me think, this is done so you're not focused on, well, how the fuck is Mabel the star of this Rumble, or how is Duke the dumpster drawer the star of this Rumble? This was pack the ring out, so at least there's something to distract you from realizing how shit this was.
Well, the first person eliminated was Bob Backlund. But to put that into context, Bob Backlund was eliminated by Yokozuna, who didn't enter until number 9.
Yeah, there we go.
So that's nearly a third of the way through the Rumble before anyone's eliminated. So you're right. They're really filling the ring up. After Bob Holly, we have King Mabel, as you mentioned, Magsy.
Evil King Mabel.
Oh,
No.
Yeah, you can tell he's a bad guy because he ain't got the blonde hair no more.
No. And this is not long after he almost killed Diesel at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that's true. And then we have Jake Roberts coming out, and the crowd pop big for Jake Roberts.
Yeah.
And he's got the snake, and the music is just, I love Jake Roberts' WWF theme. It's just such of its time and brilliant. And Jake Roberts comes out, throws the snake in the ring. Everyone panics and runs around and so on. And the crowd then all of a sudden wake up for the first time, I think, because they've been relatively quiet up until this point, haven't they?
Yeah, who have they had in terms of star power there? Absolutely. I mean, Triple H, yeah, he's a star now, but at the time he was mid card at best.
Yeah.
So there was nobody really there for the fans to massively root for, and I think this was Jake coming back after being out in the wilderness for quite a few years. This is in the run up to his evangelical storyline, and then the stuff at King of the Ring with that ends up helping make Stone Cold a huge star. So yeah, this was a return that you would be glad to see.
Yeah, there you go. Bit of star factor, a bit of nostalgia factor as well, and so on. Yeah, of course. Talking of nostalgia factor, out at number 8, Dory Funk.
Not Terry Funk.
No,
Dory Funk, and he was 55 years old at this point in 1996. He was 55,
and he looks 75.
Yeah, and Vince tries to play up the asked for Terry, but he was busy wrestling. So essentially, Dory was he was a replacement for a replacement, and. Yeah, I don't think he kind of got the point of a Royal Rumble. He just suplexes everybody all the time and falls over
in his day. Don't get me wrong, absolute legend in his day.
But now he looks like a Wish version of Hulk Hogan.
Well, not even. Oh, mate, that's being harsh to Wish versions of Hogan. If I worked for Wish and heard you say that, I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
It's not at all. It's not. We do get the mention though of the NWA, and this happens once or twice in this Rumble. And you got to think that Vince never spoke about the competition. Well, not even competition. He never acknowledges other wrestling companies ever. And here we are in '96, and he talks about the NWA. Later on, he talks about All Japan Pro Wrestling. He talks about the USWA, all in the course of an hour.
And you know that Vince is dying inside having to do this. Absolutely dying inside, but needs must. And when you're having to borrow wrestlers to fill out the Rumble, you've got to give a little bit back. And yeah, he was saying this through gritted teeth.
Yeah, without a doubt. At this point, we start getting the question of where is Jerry Lawler? Where's he disappeared to? And he has sneaked off. This bit I enjoyed. I thought this was good.
He'd actually been covered with the snake. So when Jake Roberts came in, he obviously brings out a snake, and everybody jumps out, but Lawler's too slow, and he gets covered with the snake. And in the melee, and when everyone got back in the ring, Lawler stayed on the outside, and then slowly he snuck his way under the ring.
Very clever. Very, very clever.
Yep, very great tactician.
Yeah, there you go. There we go. Oh, dear me. We then see, who have we got next? Yokozuna. To not much of a reaction at all, which I think is a real shame, considering he was world champion less than 2 years ago. But
he looks in very poor condition. I mean, he was quite as a wrestler in his WWF title run time. For such a big guy, he was very energetic. He was very agile.
That leg drop was fantastic.
Yeah, this is not an agile Yokozuna whatsoever.
No.
He's a lot bigger, like noticeably bigger. Yeah, he looked rough. And poor Henry Godwin. There's a spot where Mabel and Yoko are splashing each other in the corner, and Henry Godwin, who's a big guy, I think he's what 6'7", about
he's huge,
300 plus pounds himself. He's squashed in the corner behind these two behemoths, and you don't even know he's there until they come away, and he's just flattened like a pancake in the corner.
Yeah, there we go. We do then get possibly the biggest pop of the Rumble yet when the 1-2-3 Kid comes out, but it's not for the 1-2-3 Kid. It's for Razor Ramon. It's for our buddy Scott Hall. He comes running to the ring to attack 1-2-3 Kid because the Kid has cost him the Intercontinental title earlier on in the event. And you bear in mind, we're now looking at, where are we? This is entrance number 10 with the 1-2-3 Kid. And the biggest reaction of the night is for a guy who's not even in this match. I think that says a lot, Mags.
Yep, and this bit is I think it's just distraction again to show that this is a shit Royal Rumble. The roster is thin, and just getting that razor pop.
Oh dear. Excuse you. Magsy's struggling there. Next up, after 1-2-3 Kid comes in, when we have our little Scott Hall cameo, we have Amori making his entrance. He is from All Japan Pro Wrestling. Had a decent-ish career in Japan. He wrestled for All Japan. He won their Triple Crown at one stage, and I think he worked a little bit for New Japan and Noah, maybe, places like that. But at this point, in 1996, in this particular arena, no one gives a shit.
Vince didn't even give a shit. All he mentioned was he was a wild man from Japan. Mentioned it about 3 or 4 times.
With the standard Japanese entrance music that all of these Japanese wrestlers get.
The Orient Express.
Racism!
Ridiculous.
Oh, my goodness. This bit did tickle me, though, because we didn't mention our commentary team. We've got Vince McMahon as our play-by-play commentator, which is either, at best, it's okay. At worst, it's comical nonsense. And we've got quite a bit of comical nonsense from Vince in this particular Rumble. One of these moments here is when Savio Vega makes his entrance. The countdown happens, his music starts, and Vince can't figure out who it is. He's there going, and here he comes. Here who comes? To himself. Live on commentary, on pay-per-view, but till Savio Vega walks out and he's, oh yes, it's Savio Vega.
Yeah, because it's not been fed to him through his microphone. And why would Vince remember the theme music of one of his own wrestlers?
Yeah,
because
there we go.
Reasons.
Oh, you say about feeding him via the headset or whatever, who's coming next and so on. They were talking all the time throughout this Rumble that you could ring the WWF Superstars hotline and they would tell you who was next before they came out.
And was it Ray Rougeau who was running the line?
Was it really? Why?
Yeah.
Imagine that, just giving Ray Rougeau a call. Who's next, pal? Oh, really? It's Vader. Oh,
at $4 a minute.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone in the States did that more than once during the Rumble. Had Ray Rougeau
basically talking you through the match, like the hour and a quarter that the match went on.
Dear me, these next entrants aren't much better, mind. I love Vader. I'm a big WCW mark, as everyone knows.
Was this his debut?
Yes,
I think this was his WWF debut. Yeah,
but WWF Vader, it didn't quite work out. Yeah, exactly. And then
Shawn Michaels fucked him. Let's say.
Well, yeah, he wasn't. No, I'm not disagreeing, of course, but Vader didn't help himself because he was in no good physical condition.
He had a bad attitude. He didn't wash his ring gear, so he stunk.
Yeah,
so,
he didn't, help himself, shall we say, which is a shame. We then see Doug Gilbert, for crying out loud,
from the USWA, don't you know?
Yeah. Do you know why they fired him?
Because I don't know.
They got rid of Doug Gilbert, apparently, because when he was working, what a company he was associated with was like OVW was, like one of these training grounds for wrestlers that would then go up to, like a little territory. And the USWA, I think, he had links with that, and he was USWA, or maybe it was somewhere else in Texas. I'm not sure, but wherever he helped run this company and helped, train the wrestlers to go up to the WWF. He live in front of a crowd and live, I believe, on television. I think you can find footage of this. Got a microphone and cut a shoot promo on Brian Christopher, calling him all sorts of names. Let everybody know that Brian Christopher was Jerry Lawler's son, which was a big no-no in the business. They were still trying to hide that at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it was a story that in WWF at the time, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes. And then went on to call Jerry Lawler a paedophile and says that he attacks 13-year-old girls in his hotel room.
I mean, no lies were told in this promo, but it's still...
Yeah, is it any wonder he didn't work for them anymore?
I mean, on the other side of the coin, his brother did apparently tag up with Mr. Perfect a lot, so...
Yeah, very true.
If that's any consolation.
We come to the SWAT team now. SWAT team number 1 and SWAT team number 2. Apparently are their genuine names in the WWF.
Yep, they are in the records. These were actually, I think, the headhunters in ECW. And they were awful, weren't they? They were terrible. They looked like a shrunk down Kamala. Yeah, they look like a shrunk barrels with Kamala face paint.
Yeah, so bad. They get eliminated relatively quickly.
Well, the first one does. And then
the second one comes out
straight after, just because the look of the draw. Obviously.
Oh yes, of course.
And then they both try. Well, they both end up getting in, and so squat for number 1. Would you say?
I don't know.
He gets eliminated twice, so that's fun.
And it's one of those scenarios where they're kind of as wide as they are tall.
Yeah.
So when they fall out of the ring, they kind of just keep rolling like a weeble.
They would be amazing at the Gloucester cheese roll.
Are they still alive? I think they're still alive, aren't they?
I have no idea. I've tried to burn them out of my memory.
No, I'm going to track them down. I'm going to see if I can find. There's 2 of them, so we got a whole
50-50.
extra chance with finding at least one of these people alive. And I'm going to see if they'll represent chain wrestling at the cheese rolling in 2024. I'll contact them
and just push them. Just stand at the top.
Yeah.
Don't let them roll.
Just
roll them down. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
We've got that 2024 cheese roll.
Honestly,
we've got it in the bag.
We're sorted. These people who come over from Canada and whatnot and pass out halfway down, they got no chance next year. Owen Hart is out next with his very old-fashioned new generation entrance music, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very memorable for me, but
it kind of sticks in my head, though. To be fair, I'll forget about it, but then when I hear it, I'll be humming it all day tomorrow.
Yeah, I do prefer his "I am not a nugget" kind of hammer on an anvil style music.
Okay. And here he comes, the main event. Vince McMahon's walking wet dream. At number 18, Shawn Michaels enters the fray. He comes dancing down to the ring with his hair looking long and glorious.
I think it's your wet dream, not just Vince's.
We're going to carry on through, of course, but you look through the rest of the lineup, there's fuck all.
Yeah, I mean, he's the star. He's the star of this. Have you broken me?
No, it's okay. I got you now.
Yeah, he's clearly the star of this very paper-thin roster. And you can tell that when one of his early eliminations is both of Mabel and Yokozuna by himself on his own.
Yeah.
Because he's
2 guys that are super strong.
What is they pitched Yoko as 600, Mabel not much less than him, so 1,100 pounds, and Shawn just heaves him over by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Not the typical Royal Rumble elimination for big guys where everybody has to pile on. No, Super Shawn, 10 stone piss wet through, does it by himself. Amazing.
By the power of his glorious mullet, he throws the larders over the top rope.
Exactly.
Hakushi is number 19. He's out next. I like Hakushi. Whenever I see, even in this Rumble, I'm watching him thinking, this guy was good.
As a wrestler, yeah, it was superb. As a character, racist.
Well, of course it's racist. It's the WWF, you know.
But yeah, he comes in and he's very energetic pretty much straight away. So you end up you're drawn to him because you've got punch, kick, clothesline, punch, kick, chop, and then you've got this guy coming in and running round and leaping from the corners. Yeah, it's great to see. And then he's pretty much eliminated after a couple of minutes by Owen Hart.
Oh, yeah. But even his elimination, he gets really high and flies over the rope, and that it was good.
Yeah, because he does the kind of avoid of he's in the corner, he avoids Owen by kind of springing over him, and then Owen catches him on his shoulder, and just launches him out. Unfortunately,
yeah, we do have a little bit of bother with Yokozuna and Vader though, when Shawn has eliminated them both with his incredible display of strength, of course. And they have a bit of a scrap on the outside. They're not happy. Vader slaps Yoko about a bit. Then Vader gets in the ring, and this was very interesting. Vader clears the ring, throwing a lot of people through the ropes, but he presses Shawn Michaels above his head, throws Shawn Michaels over the top rope. I'm thinking, what the fuck? Shawn wins this, but he's just been eliminated. And it's also, you can hear Vince panicking on commentary going, oh, he's not eliminated because Vader's not in the match anymore.
But that rule has not been in place before. We've seen other wrestlers who are involved in the Rumble or have been eliminated, and the person they've thrown out has also been eliminated. So making rules up for his sex toy Shawn Michaels. Ridiculous.
I think there was a little bit of a fuck up there.
Well, there is apparently another fuck up coming up as well. We haven't quite got there yet. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Tatanka comes next in 96. That's right. Tatanka is still there in 96.
And he hasn't got the red hair anymore because he's evil, Tatanka.
That's right. That's what happens when you turn evil. Your hair. Perhaps I should just start being bad. All the grey will go.
Is the grey red? I don't know.
Is the grey red? Can you hear yourself? Aldo Montoya joins the fray to the excitement of absolutely fucking no one.
Mr. Perfect with one of the lines of the show. He's put the jock strap on his wrong part of his body. And then Vince, I don't know about that.
Yeah. But then I suppose we get the last bigger name for this era with these people in these particular guises in Diesel. He's still very prominent in the main event picture, as we would see in the main event of the pay-per-view later on as well. Diesel comes in.
You have missed out a little bit.
Okay, I missed like Karma, haven't I?
No, Karma comes in later. You've missed out when Shawn Michaels steps out the ring and takes a walk round.
I've even got a note of that here because that happens when Vader throws him over the top rope.
Yeah. And Shawn doesn't get back in the ring straight away. And he looks around and he plays to the crowd, "Where is the king?" Shawn then climbs under the ring, and Mr. Perfect saying, "Great strategy." And then he pulls out a Jerry Lawler by the ankles and throws him back in the ring to eliminate him.
Yeah. I forgot about Lawler until Shawn pulled him out the ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I forgot he was there.
And that was the point, that you would forget.
Clever.
But Shawn didn't, because he's Vince's boy.
Shawn in 1996 was the greatest wrestler in the world.
Well, agree to disagree.
One of the best performers in the world. Then.
Okay.
Because I think Dean Malenko in WCW in 96 has got to be up there as one of the best wrestlers, but he had no charisma whatsoever.
Or now, or ever.
Well, yeah, this is true. This is true. Oh dear. We have the Ringmaster entering next. A very different look
again,
at. What have I done?
Now you've missed out Karma, because Karma comes in just after
Diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Karma comes in. Then we have the Ringmaster. A very different look for our friend Steve Austin. Mm-hmm. And here comes Barry to save the day.
The hero.
Hits. Yes.
Still with the very xenophobic Jewish music, but
Yep.
this is Barry Horowitz, who also had a promo in that little junket where all the wrestlers said that they're going to win, and he talks about him being the ultimate underdog and king of the jobbers, but anything can happen in the WWF. And he comes in, and he actually doesn't do too bad. He lasts for a good few minutes, gets beat up quite a lot, but it is what it is.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, after Barry Horowitz, Fatu comes out. I don't remember this version of Fatu at all. What was this?
Yeah, this one didn't last long. This was him. He was kind of like someone who would walk the streets of a ghetto and kind of help poor kids. Yeah, he was the man of the people, Fatu. Didn't last long.
I don't remember it at all.
So, but what you have missed again. So you're not doing very well this episode, sir. The guy who entered number 1, Triple H, was actually eliminated in kind of a whimper by Diesel. Just essentially thrown over the top rope.
Oh, he was launched, wasn't he? Launched over the top rope.
Yeah.
He got some height on that.
But he was in the Rumble for 48 minutes. And he had 0 eliminations. He didn't throw a single person out of the match. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Nobody really gave a shit when he got eliminated either, did they?
Because no one gave a shit about the character.
No, that's true.
The Blue Blood, it was not his best time, but he was paying his dues, I suppose.
Owen Hart gets eliminated, but we miss it because we're getting a replay of Shawn Michaels doing something. That was annoying.
Okay, I mean, again, you jumped quite a bit. Owen Hart does the worst thing in the history of Royal Rumbles when he eliminates Barry Horowitz first.
Okay, yes.
Which we actually do almost miss. Essentially, Barry Horowitz is trying to high knee Owen out of the ring, and Owen ducks and does the whole backdrop, and poor Barry, our saviour, Barry Horowitz, ends up eating the mat. And then we get Isaac Yankem, which is fun.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I mean, the most interesting thing about him is the music, and all it is a dentist. It's a dentist drill. That's it.
Yeah, I hate it so much. Oh dear. After Isaac Yankem, Marty Jannetty comes out to the old Rockers music and so on, and we do get a little bit of the crowd getting into something here because Jannetty and Michaels exchange a few punches, and the crowd like that. They're on board with that. But it doesn't last anywhere near long enough. They kind of break up that scrap quite quickly, which is a shame.
Yeah.
And then the Bulldog enters.
Building to the big numbers. I mean, you want to kind of build the anticipation for a big star. So you've got 2 wrestlers to go. The Bulldog's in. Who could be next? It's fucking Duke the Dumpster Drozer. Duke the Dumpster Drozer has got the best number in the Rumble, number 30.
And he's out really quickly as well. It's like a complete fucking waste.
It is. It made the match on the free for all pointless because the longest lasting wrestler was in at number 1 and lasted pretty much all the way through. At least give him the opportunity to beat down on Duke before getting eliminated. But no, we don't even get that. It's 96 WWE was awful.
I suppose something we did miss as well, Magsy, when Austin gets eliminated. McMahon and Perfect on commentary.
Now
they didn't even notice he'd gone.
That's because that was another fuck up.
Okay.
So the story is that Austin was meant to be one of the final 4.
Right.
And he was meant to keep hold of the ropes when Fatu essentially throws him over, but he couldn't get a good enough grip, and he ended up hitting the floor. And if you see, Austin is fuming and he's slamming the ring, and he clearly doesn't know how to react because he wasn't meant to be eliminated. And then Fatu is eliminated straight after him by, I think, Diesel. And he's actually talking with the referees, basically trying to apologize because he was involved in a spot that essentially went wrong. So from there, they basically have to wing it because Austin was meant to stay in there till the final four, and they ended up I think Karma ended up taking his place.
Yeah. Your final four are Diesel, Karma, the Bulldog, and Shawn Michaels. Bit of a mix, isn't it? Quite an odd mix.
I mean, the two biggest stars in there, and then filler, essentially.
Exactly. But the finish I thought was quite good. We don't hang about for too long, and there's a lot of moving parts, and it's like a couple of distractions, couple of eliminations, and we whittle down to 2 and then 1 very, very quickly, Max, don't we?
Yeah, it's a good little sequence with the final four. You've got Markles almost getting eliminated by Bulldog. You get that slide under the ropes and the clothesline out, which I thought was very cleverly done. And then we get what we have to get in every Markles Royal Rumble, a skin the cat where people think he's been eliminated. Diesel gets Karma out and then turns around into a super kick. A great finish to a very lackluster Royal Rumble.
Yeah. And Shawn wins and then starts doing a little dance and starts very, very nearly exposing himself to all the children in the audience.
He definitely gets his arse out.
Yes.
You almost see his cock and balls.
Yes.
But thankfully, Diesel saves the day by coming back in the ring. And it looks like we're almost going to get Diesel kicking 10 bells of shit out of Shawn Michaels, but they're all friends in the end.
Yeah, everybody's happy. Well, Diesel's not happy because he turns up again later on the pay-per-view and fucks it for the Undertaker, doesn't he? So, but there we go. There we go. Out of 10, Mags.
It was shit. I mean, you look at a couple of years later and you're getting arguably some of the best Royal Rumbles that WWE put on. You look a couple of years in the past and you're getting one of the best Royal Rumbles that they've put on. And this was just, it's so forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love a Royal Rumble, but I don't love this Royal Rumble. So it's getting a 3. A 3 from me.
Okay. 4 from me, my friend. 4 from me.
Not far off.
I don't think I'll ever rush back to see this again. Maybe the finish, because that was probably one of the best spots in the match. Yeah. But, you know, it's just crap, isn't it?
It's just a testament to how thin the roster was at this time and how thin it would be for the next year or so, and how easy it was for WCW to essentially run roughshod over the WWF for the best part of 18 months. And you understand why, because it was a poor roster, it was poor booking, there was poor gimmicks, and WCW tapped into a fresh idea in wrestling, more reality-based and more mainstream crossovers, and the WWF were caught napping. And this is the epitome of why, because it was just woeful.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. Oh, dear me. So then, where would you like to go next week, Mags, if your selection wins the poll again?
So I was rooting for the king of the jobbers to do well in this. Good old Barry Horowitz, star of last week's show. Unfortunately, someone had to ruin it, and it had to be that bastard Owen Hart. So let's use Owen Hart as the link. And we've covered quite a bit of Owen Hart, really. And that's because he does bloody good work. Well, or he did bloody good work, and he's absolutely missed, and he was taken from us way, way too early. But there's one match that that we haven't covered, and it's from a pay-per-view that is consistently in the top 10 WWE pay-per-views. It's In Your House Canadian Stampede.
Okay.
And it's a 10-man tag team match. It's the Hart Foundation of Bret Hart, Brian Pillman, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Owen Hart, and the British Bulldog, and they're taking on Gold Dust, Ken Shamrock, the Legion of Doom, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was July 1997. So that's the match I want to go for. The 10-man tag team match from In Your House. I think it's number 16, Canadian Stampede.
Okay. How do you want to approach this? Because we've covered that.
Shit. I didn't remember.
That was during that was during your sabbatical. I believe
there we
it was
go.
actually. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I believe it was actually Sharon with me that week.
Well,
Sharon
as
stepped
we've
in for 1 week, so
as we've shown, Sharon is big time in us now, so we can strike her view from the record.
yeah, okay. So yeah, okay, no worries. What was it? In Your House 16, you say?
It is.
Canadian.
See, and
Stampede.
also Sharon's clearly got a great man for wrestling because it's a bloody good match.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So it is good. The crowd reactions are amazing, and oh man, the rest of the show is absolute shite. Don't bother watching the rest of the show.
It's consistently in the best rated pay-per-views. I think WWE had it at number 16 in their top 20 list of pay-per-views, and I think on Wrestling Observer it was number 7.
It's all based. I may be completely wrong, and if this wins, maybe that is another way we could approach this and not break it down, but have a little look at the undercard and see does it stand up, or is it literally carried by the main event alone?
So there's 5 matches total, I think.
Okay.
The free-for-all match doesn't get a rating because it's under 10 minutes. Triple H versus Mankind. Dave hasn't given that a good rating, but then you get the Great Sasuke versus Taka.
That's good. Yes,
Dave gave that a 4 stars.
That's good. Yeah.
You've got Undertaker versus Vader for the WWF title. That gets 3.5.
Oh, does it really? Okay.
And then this match is a 4.25. So
right, okay.
It's very highly rated. I think it's on Cage Match. It's got about an 8.5 rating. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So there we go. We could go and have another look at that. I love that match though. It's so good. It's so good. But we have to put something up against it. And if this wins, there's a strong chance you're going to hate me.
I don't think I would hate you unless it's Barry Windham versus Sting from the USWA in 1981.
Okay. It's not as early as 81.
But it's not far off. Here we fucking go.
I know this sounds silly because whenever we have a Royal Rumble, we always say it's great because it's got so many options.
It's going to be fucking Dory Funk, isn't it? The link is
let
Dory Funk, and it's Dory and Terry Funk, the Funks, versus Barry Windham and Lex Luger.
You're close.
Oh no!
I thought I want to look at somebody that we've never seen wrestle on this show before. So I thought I wonder how Dory Funk Jr. matches stand up to modern day. So I just Googled it. But by this point, as I was saying, like normally with a Royal Rumble, we have numerous places we can link to. I was really struggling on this one for some reason. So
that's because half of the roster is shit. And
well,
you wouldn't want to watch another match with them.
This is it. And I thought, well, it doesn't really matter what I put up because your selections are doing quite well at the moment. So if I lose, I lose. If I win, bonus. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. So I thought, okay, I looked at a few different options and I Googled Dory Funk Jr. And I thought, I know he was tagging with Terry Funk at one point. And those matches, I don't remember seeing them. And that was something else I was looking for as well. Maybe something I've never seen before. So that could be interesting. And as I was looking through this, something popped up that my eye was instantly drawn to. And I just thought, do you know what? Everyone's going to get a pop out of me saying this, whether it wins or not. It's just going to be fucking funny, the fact that I bring this up. I would like to head, using Dory Funk Jr. as the link, to the Championship Wrestling from Florida TV taping, November the 14th, 1987. And Dory Funk Jr. is the challenger, and he is taking on the Western States Heritage Heavyweight Champion, Barry Windham.
Oh, my word.
Everyone mocks me for it every week anyway, so I thought, why not?
So
Let's
play
have a
into the gimmick.
Yeah.
Watch it win now. Watch it fucking win now.
No, it's listed. When I looked into these sites and these descriptions and so on, a lot of the comments under the video are talking about how good this is. I have never seen this. Okay, I've got the link, the YouTube link that I can put out if it does win for people to watch along. And it's only about 15, 16 minutes long, maybe 18 minutes tops. But it's, like I said, it's a television taping from Championship Wrestling from Florida, 1987. Barry Windham in the end of 87. He's building up to being peak Barry Windham. Dory Funk Jr. here is coming to the end of his time as an active wrestler who can actually still go. But in this match, apparently, still can go. So I thought that would be something that we've definitely not seen before. So I've never seen. And I thought it could be quite interesting to check it out. And be perfectly honest, if it sucks, we'll say it.
I'm sure it'll be the best match ever.
You're a prick, you. But there we go. Those are your options for next week. We have the 10-man tag, the main event from In Your House 16, Canadian Stampede, the Hart Foundation, taking on Steve Austin, the Legion of Doom, Goldust, and Ken Shamrock. That's right, yes. Or we will head to the Territory Days. I love it. Oh, it makes me so happy. The Territory Days. Championship Wrestling from Florida. TV taping, November the 14th, 1987. Barry Windham versus Dory Funk Jr. for the Western States Heritage title. So, there we go. Vote in the poll when it's up at the end of the week. Retweet and all that good stuff. Magsy, should we jump in the chat before we depart?
No. Because they're going to vote Barry Windham.
Oh, it'd be lovely.
So Scotty Stanley says, was this Rumble after HBK was beaten up by the Sailors? Yeah. Was that why he was out for a while? Then he got filled in a pub because he's a fly little knobhead.
No, this is when he had his supposed knee injury, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
He had his knee injury, and then everyone was like, his knee's not actually hurt at all.
Yeah.
And then, so
it was just a pillory.
Basically.
Scotty Stanley also says, so much for the new generation youth movement. The irony is that this actual pay-per-view is where you see skits for the Ted Turner mock. And
Billionaire Ted's War Room and stuff.
Yeah, and the Nacho Man and the Huckster and Scheming Gene. They really lean in, and Vince Russo is actually one of the advisors as well.
Yeah,
but they lean into like mocking WCW, and ironically, WCW would absolutely wipe the floor with them not long after with those very same wrestlers that they were mocking.
Indeed.
King's Pig's Bladder, when we were talking about Henry Godwin being squashed like a pancake, says he likes pancakes, and then he got a little bit stiff when Barry Windham came out.
Like Vader's offense, a little bit stiff.
Yeah. Uncle Juicy TV says it's time to make a change. I mean, unfortunately, we have to go the way the CWF votes. So they voted for this. We have to watch it. King Pigsbella says, if Barry had to be eliminated, what better person than Owen? Yeah, you're right. Could just give him a little bit more time.
Was Windham in the WWF at this point in '96
as the Stalker?
Yeah, was this
that came
a little bit later?
A little bit later on, towards the end of 1996. This is the build-up for Austin coming away from Ted DiBiase, who was going to be part of the NWO, so he left. And then we get King of the Ring later in the year, Austin 316, blah 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 blah, and then Barry Windham is later in that year when he comes in with camouflage and a mustache, and
Mustache.
and Austin absolutely rinses him for it. And then Barry Windham, definitely voting Barry Windham.
Yes.
50-50 anyone. See you all in the super secret chat. Then I'll get the secret group on it, mate. You are arseholes.
The thing is,
Uncle Juicy TV says it's time to make a change. That was this Fatu reference. Yeah,
okay.
It was basically being a man of the people and trying to help the youth, and then he became Rikisha. It was he was the Sultan after that, weren't it? We got the Sultan before we got actual Rikisha, so that's fun to look forward to.
Yeah, that's not a good look, is it? Not a good look at all. Oh, see, I'm excited now because people seem to be thinking about voting for Mr. Windham, and I'm kind of worried that maybe I've shot my load early here and put forward this match as a joke. We're going to get Barry Windham, and I should have picked something better.
No, you're not changing your mind now. If we have to watch Dory Funk versus Barry Windham, then so be it.
Hey, one of the greatest NWA champions of all time, Dory Funk Jr. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and one of the worst in Barry Windham.
Fuck you.
That came from the heart. Then I felt it coming up from your gut.
Oh, there we go. As always, thank you so much to everybody who voted in the poll, joined us today in the chat, retweeted anything, got involved in our non-wrestling topic, listens on the audio version later in the week. You're all absolutely fantastic. And as always, this show would not exist without you. We are fast approaching our 100th live show. I believe the end of July. So not far away at all.
Coming soon.
Incredible, mate. Incredible. Exciting times.
We've got some ideas in the bag for celebrating that episode as well. We have indeed.
Magsy, where can people find you online with your chickens and so on?
Yeah, I mean, I have a Twitter. I very rarely use it. That's at PodfatherMags. But if you want to get the inside scoop, you can ring up Ray Rougeau and he will give you chicken news a few days in advance when you follow me on TikTok at PodfatherMags.
There we go. Anything I'm involved in, as always, you can find via the network that carries this show. And I want to give a big special shout out as well to the stuff that's happening on the network that carries this show, SJP World Media, because this is not the only live show you're getting this week. On Wednesday at 7:30, I hope everyone, if available, will join us. In the Corner goes live for the very first time. So you have Benny Mack, who is the regular host of In the Corner, talking modern day WWE. His semi-regular guest host, Tyler Peters, will be with him too. Sadly, you're going to have to put up with my mug because they've asked me to join them for the very first live show. And we'll be looking at all things WWE from Night of Champions and probably talking a little bit Monday Night Raw as well. Live at 7:30 on all of these channels. Make sure you check it out, support it, and so on. Really, really happy for Benny that he's taken the step to do this. And I want it to be a success for him, which I know it will, because Benny's bloody brilliant at what he does.
Absolutely.
So there we go. You also have, obviously, Away from the Pages, the new Book World podcast ran by my lovely wife, Sharon. Check that out. It's bloody fantastic, even if I do say so myself. More shows coming soon as well. Again, probably going to be, announced in the next couple of days, and more so coming in a few months' time with regards to covering certain sport and more live shows involved with that as well. Very excited for that to be coming across and joining SJP World Media. Don't want to spill the beans just yet because it's up to the hosts to do that. But yeah, exciting times. We got all the usual stuff as well. Nitro nights. You've got, the Doctor Who pod. You've got the waiting room and all this stuff. Sharon in the chat there. What is she saying?
She's saying it seems there is one particular show carrying the network right now.
Cheeky guy.
And she's getting all the digs in while she can. Wait till that second episode drop off, Sharon. Just wait. And it is bloody brilliant. In all seriousness, definitely go and listen to Away from the Pages. I absolutely loved it. It was really, really entertaining.
It is. It is absolutely fantastic. It's fortnightly is the plan. So yeah, the next episode will be with you. Well, just keep an eye on all the socials at SJP World Media as well, because you'll find out about all that. And you can follow this show as well. Get involved in the poll and an on-wrestling topic and all that good stuff. And also check out the cheese rolling video from earlier. And at chain_wrestling on Facebook and Twitter, at chain_wrestling there. Magsy, I'm off now to watch more Habushi matches because I thought that guy was bloody fantastic. I'll speak to you this week, my friend.
And I'll watch some Hakushi ones because that was his actual name.
Damn
Goodbye,
it.
folks.